saying that we should somehow self-identify as Jesus. In fact, to the extent that we do that, we probably need some medication. And so just to make myself clear, you and I, we are not Jesus, nor should we identify as Jesus. And yet, with that being said, the message of baptism is that God has identified us with Jesus. It's close, right? Instead of being identified as Jesus, we are identified with Jesus. So let me try to explain that. In our passage that we read from Romans at the beginning of this, it's all about baptism, and in particular, it's all about the identity of baptism, or living into your identity as a baptized person. And so in verse 3 in particular, it says this. It says, when you get baptized, quote, into Christ. So when you were baptized into Christ is what it says. And you see that little phrase, into Christ, or elsewhere in the Bible, you also, in the New Testament, you'll see this phrase, in Christ. It's in Greek, en Christo. And that particular phrase, you've probably seen it before. In fact, you've probably seen it a bunch. It occurs over 150 times in the New Testament, most of the time in Paul's letters. And what systematic theologians sometimes refer to it as is what they call incorporation, is what they say. Incorporation, meaning, what they mean by that is you get incorporated into Christ. Maybe the more historic word for it is that you get incorporated into, quote, union with Christ. And whatever language you want to use, that's not the point. What that phrase in Christ or into Christ is getting at. It's this idea, and I want you to hear this idea. It's this idea that everything that is true for Jesus is now also true for you. Again, everything that is true for Jesus, if you're in Christ, is now also true for you. And so if you just think about this, think about the baptism of Jesus. In fact, if I can just read the passage to you, it's from Matthew 3. We're going to read it. This is beginning of verse 16. Matthew 3, it says this. It says, when Jesus was baptized, immediately he went up from the water, and behold, the heavens were opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and coming to rest on him. So it comes up out of baptism, Spirit of God descends, and then it says, behold, a voice from heaven said, this is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. And so you look at that. What is the identity of Jesus? This is telling us about the identity of Jesus. It's two things, but they totally go together. You can't really pull them apart. But two things. He is beloved by the Father. This is my beloved Son. He's beloved by the Father, and as part of that, secondly, he's indwelt by the Spirit. So what is the identity of Jesus? Two things. Beloved by the Father, indwelt by the Spirit. Can I have you say it with me? What is the identity of Jesus? He is beloved by the Father, indwelt by the Spirit. Just one more time. Identity of Jesus. He is beloved by the Father, indwelt by the Spirit. And you see, here's the thing that I want you to hear. Everything that is true for Jesus is now also true for who? You. And so who are you? You are beloved by the Father, and you are indwelt by His Spirit. Everything that's true for Christ is also true for you. You're beloved by the Father. You're not someone He doesn't know. You're not some stranger to Him. You're not someone He doesn't care about. You are loved by your God, and as part of that, you are indwelt by His Spirit. The same Spirit that dwells in Jesus dwells in you. And what I want to suggest to you is that is the most important thing about who you are. Not other people's opinions, not how you look, not how you feel, not what you do. You are not your desires, you are not your deeds, you are not your job. Your identity is located in none of those things. It is located in the fact that you are beloved by the Father and indwelt by His Spirit. That is who you are. Or at the very least, that is the gift that He has held out to you in and through your baptism into Christ. Will you claim it? It's the question that hangs over that.